First up, I'm going to show you the Bluetti system we installed and how I installed it. The bifacial vertical panels we installed, and I'll show you the power cord that I put around the perimeter and hooked up. Secondly, I'm going to share two problems we had this winter and the solutions we came up with to resolve them. Let's roll the video. So I built this little box. Basically all I did was at the end of this flower bed, I went ahead and just allotted this much space at the end of the flower bed. Put a bottom in there so I could use the bottom here for a cabinet. And then the top, basically I built this for two reasons. One, I wanted to be able to insulate the unit from some of the elements out here. It's got, you know, three-sided. Plus I wanted to get a roof on here because there is times of the year, especially in the fall and the winter, when we have a lot of condensation. All right, folks, so what you're looking at right here is a Bluetti portable power station. This is the AC300. I also have a AC500. Quite satisfied with the 500 so far, so we went with the AC300 to power up the greenhouse. I've got two batteries attached to it. I've got the B300K. I bought that one after I initially bought the unit. First off, we had purchased the head unit and the one B300, which is the batteries that kind of came with and they were really promoting at the time. And since then, we went to buy another B300 battery, and we ended up going with the 300K because the 300B was out of stock at the time. And at that point, we were coming into winter pretty hard. We knew we needed another battery, so we went with the K. Quite satisfied so far. Now you can see here what I was talking about encasing it in here. Basically, it's just got a little bit of room all the way around it because it does actually have a fan system in there. It does pull air through here. It does cool itself. So I had to leave room for ventilation, and basically this is just the metal on the outside skirts and a few pieces of timber in there. So it's very, very light. There's not much there. There's plenty of room for airflow. So it really worked out good. A nice solid base underneath, and like I showed you, you've got that little cabinet under there. So as far as the setup here and the way I've got it going, I really like it and it works really well. Alright gang, sorry about the wind if there's any wind noise in this fan right here, but you see right here what I've got. It's 10 gauge wire, yeah? So I run that 10 gauge wire out, buried that under the ground, and then that follows over here and brought that up to the panels. And the panels are wired in series. And the panels are commercial grade monocrystalline bifacial panel, and they're capable of producing 520 watts apiece. The head unit in there, the AC300, it maxes out at 2500 watts of input. So these panels actually worked out perfect. To give you a little more insight on these panels, this was kind of an experiment for us. My biggest thing was going to be wind. And sure enough, the wind has definitely reared its ugly head a couple times. We had some 70-mile-an-hour stuff come through here. On that occasion, it actually blew my panels down at the camp, but I had them in series of 6 altogether, which was foolish, and I'll just say that from right from the get-go. I should have never put that many panels together. These 4 together the way they are have worked out good. They did bend a little bit. These are aluminum fence posts that I have this on. You can see here you got a little bit of leaning this way. I'm going to go in here this year and, well, soon, and put some anchors in here and wire these up solid and straight. I should have done it prior to our windy fall that we had last year. Thankfully these didn't get damaged, they didn't come down, but they are bent forward, just that shade right there that you saw. Other than that, these things have absolutely proven themselves. I'm going to tell you what, I never thought I would get so much power through the winter, but that's where they really kick in, gang. You get a little bit of snow on the ground and these things are amazing, even in the middle of the day, because during the middle of the day when your sun's coming down like so, it don't show much, you know, because you've got nothing. In the winter, we're starving for any sunlight we get, so anything helps. So we get a little bit of blanket of snow down here, world of difference. It's charging all day long. Love these panels, very, very happy with them. Alright gang, so what you're looking at right here is a ground fault receptacle. What you see coming into it is a whacked up, cut all to pieces 100-foot extension cord. Yes, you heard me correct. So what I did is I went out and I bought a 10 gauge 100-foot extension cord. Yeah. So that what I could do then is from the head unit, I can plug that extension cord in. It has no breaks in it. It goes from there and it runs over to this first outlet. Yeah. So I come up, I cut my cord, mounted my first outlet, ground fault receptacle, run that back down. I could have just ran only that ground fault, but I chose to go the extra mile. So each one of these outlets I ran over here, came up, each one has a ground fault in it. I did that simply because it's always moisture or something I got to worry about here. Let's put it that way. So I want to make sure everything is as safe and secure as it possibly can be. So far, gang, so good as far as this goes. Now, let me tell you about my two winter problems. All right, gang, two problems. First problem was humidity. I'm going to show you right here. This is under technical specifications in the user manual for the 300 head unit. All right, working environment humidity has to be between 10 and 90%. So my humidity in this building has to be between 10 and 90%. What I was running into was daily coming in here and my humidity being over 100%. I didn't have anything happen, but my concerns were that something would happen if I kept leaving it with the humidity that high. So we had a dehumidifier that we had bought prior. We had bought an old home with a basement and needed a dehumidifier in there, so we bought this dehumidifier. Luckily, that worked. It was enough to bring the humidity down, and as an added bonus, if you hook one of those up, I don't know if you've ever run one or not, but when you run those, as that fan's blowing, it comes out as warm air. Quite warm, actually, and I was surprised at how much it would bring the temperature up in here. That helped a lot. So that resolved my first problem, was just putting that dehumidifier in here. That worked fine for a while. Then, my second problem. So, if we look back here in this book, it says that our charge temperature, in other words, in order for this unit to be capable of charging, the working temperature for that has to be between 32 and 104 degrees. So basically what that means is if it gets below 32 degrees in here, this thing ain't going to charge. It can get all the sunlight it wants, but this is not going to accept the charge because it's too cold. So that was my second issue. That one I battled kind of hard. Now first I thought, well, that's no problem. I'll just put a heater right here. Okay, well that sounds great, but that heater takes power. The heater that I'm using, or tried to use, which was one of the better heaters to use, is an oil-filled stand-up type heater. So we tried that for a bit, but the bad thing is if you have no sunlight for a couple of days, and we're talking wintertime here, that's when our worst time of the year is. So if you get absolutely no sunlight for a few days, it don't take long to run this thing down, and you run a heater like that and it never really gets warm enough in here for it to kick off. So there's a constant flow of power coming into it, but not a constant flow of power coming in here. That's where my problem came in. So what I did, and during the day I didn't have to worry about this. This wasn't a daily issue, this was a nighttime issue. During the day, even if it's a cloudy day, this place warms up. You know, it does exactly what it's supposed to. But we get some super, super cold days here, and I'm talking 30, 40, 50 degrees below zero at night. I mean cold. So, and I know other people live in this kind of situation. It's not just us, but you know, some folks don't. So I want you to understand. So basically from there, what I did is I needed cheap heat. I needed heat bad, and I needed it right here. I needed it on this head unit. So to alleviate that, I went with this right here, which I'm not going to take it down. You know what? Yes, I am. This right here is a seed mat. This seed mat I hung along the back panel of this and draped it down, hung on its wire. This thing doesn't take hardly any power whatsoever, but it warms the ambient air around it. So it worked perfectly. I put this in there, put it on that metal back behind there. Then, I'm sure everyone's probably familiar with these, the little safety thing that folds up into a little 1 inch by 1 inch square, and you can pull it out and save the world. They're super. And don't think that they don't actually do what they're supposed to. But, unfolded this, draped this down over top, plugged in my heat mat, my seat mat, and also, yes, put the rock wall insulation on this back wall. With those things combined, finally, I had a setup that I could run, I could plug it in at night, it didn't draw all my power down, and it kept the unit working. Yeah? Gang, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit that like. Always look forward to subscribers if you want to subscribe. If you have any questions, and I mean any questions on anything I've went over, any of the components, I'm happy to get a little bit more detailed. I didn't want to make this a very long video. So that's it, and we're going to wrap it up today. Much love and respect, gang, and I will see you in the next one.